All right, good evening. It's Shay Seeking or Shalonda for those of you who know me personally. And again, I just was okay. It's certain terms that come to mind with scriptures that I'm reading that, I feel like I understand but don't. And it's almost like a disabling feeling, right? Okay, when we're talking about things that are again going on in the world, when it's coming to spiritual warfare, or even not even spiritual well, because I think some of this is being used to as a weapon. Okay, um, and again, on this channel, I'm just we're just looking at things and discerning, and so the term today again, because again, I have a love-hate relationship with words and terms. And so again, when we're reading the text and I'm breaking down these words or whatever, and when we're doing etymology, we're just trying to get a better understanding as to what this word means, so we can evaluate the entire scripture or verse, and see what it was intended to mean. Because again, sometimes we think we know, but we have no idea, and then that can lead us to error. So the word that I'm talking about today is lust. And again, I'm not telling you what it is or what it ain't. I'm simply sharing what it looks like to me. And we're just going to take a look at this. And we're going to see if this is even something that can be even possible, to not deal with lust. Or again, a lot of stuff says stuff about the flesh. But in this time, right, we know that there's what you may call alien energies, and we know, or foreign or whatever, from out of this world. And then we also know that there are heavenly things that are going on. But then again, are they of the heavens on this earth, or are they of the universe or source or all, right? So again, when it comes to the text for me, I will tell you now, and this is just me telling you while you're on this channel, that because of the fact that the text has been altered, things have been taken out and placed in, and we do not know exactly. I look at the text for word, but some things in there is something that is within me, okay, that I feel is energy of source that auto corrects some of these things, or has me take a deeper or second look at some of these terms and some of these scriptures where I feel like some of this stuff is not original. Even if it is original, it has been altered to make us or give us a false perception or notion. Okay, it is what it is. That's how it's going to be for me. I question everything, including this text, and it helps me see. Right. So again, people do, and I have nothing against people that take the Bible word for word. I'm not even coming at them or saying anything. I'm just saying how I do things, again, because we're all each individuals, okay, and we have different we're on different levels of our journey, on our way of understanding and discerning, different levels of wisdom, and we also have different positions and different levels when it comes to tapping into source. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at a couple of scriptures. I just picked up a random page that has scriptures to do with lust. Okay, because again, what are we really doing? What's really going on? Should we know these things? Because people are talking about, soul ties and all these other different ties and connections and celestial things. And again, we are actually allegorically talking about these particular things in the biblical text as well, if you can discern. So again, which one will you know that is so-called of Satan, or of source, or of man? Okay, manipulation. So it says lust is a temptation, okay, and an evil that overcome. And then, okay, knowing what we know about religion, okay, so the text and religion, two separate things for me. Okay, we know the religious aspect, the dogmatic aspect, is something that was given for us to have a false notion, narrative of what the text is actually saying. Okay. So it says an evil, okay, that overcomes many of us if it is born of Satan and the flesh. Okay. And again, like it's concerning me because I see a lot of disconnecting when it comes to love or emotions. There's an attack on emotions or people being emotional, or we got people talking about 3D, 5D. We have all these particular things, but again, I don't know. I'm trying to center myself with common sense and looking at new ways and new outlooks on things that we are going through, because you never know who, why, when, how these things are operating, who's in charge, of these different types of ascension and things that are going on. I think that it's old, right, of old, but I think it's so new to us that are we really discerning what's going on here? And again, with terms and people being sensitive about different words and things being thrown around and what they think they mean, it's just very hard to just tackle it and center everything. So, in my eyes, I think that some of this stuff is inorganic or not natural. It is not of nature, that we read in this text sometimes. And that's just my opinion. Just like anybody else that is sharing the word with you, or we can say ministering, okay? What they are doing is the same thing I am doing, but they are, okay, but everybody has their own way. And when someone is giving you a breakdown of what they think that it means, it's the same thing as what we're doing here, right? So when someone is ministering or a pastor is speaking, they really don't even go into the word. They really do a whole talk. It's like a whole conversation, and they're just telling you what they think as man, what the word is saying, and you take it. But if something comes to you that might be a little bit different, but we're actually pulling up these words and we're reading what they actually mean, that would be considered to a lot of people that are religious as you're doing witchcraft, or that's blasphemy, or this is something else, right? Or it shouldn't be done that way. Or even the text may make you feel like you're going astray. But again, I don't think that source has chosen some of us, right, that have been doing something a certain way and given some type of favor or mercy or some type of a calling or spirit, right, to people to be able to minister these things if we were all the way in the wrong. We're breaking this down this way, okay? I actually think we're doing a dishonor to not, okay? So, I'm taking my chances and always hoping and asking for after I'm done or before, right? Sitting and contemplating and meditating and just, going in and communing with source and saying, this is kind of what I want to, see, what do you think about this? before I open my mouth, I'm always going through something. I'm reading the text back again and asking and thinking, right? Right. So, it says, every single one of us is subject to lust. So again, everybody's sinned in, right? So-called. And I'm wondering if we're focusing on the wrong things, and if these things are some of the reasons why people are so disconnected these days, why certain types of love and gratitude, affection, and companionship is being demonized in a sense, where people are just becoming robots. See, we have to, because what is the most effective thing, okay, that people delve into in their personal lives or to enhance themselves spiritually is religion. See, and are we really disconnecting because of some of these things that we're not interpreting properly, or we're reading into them wrong, or they were placed there to mislead or manipulate humanity, okay? So it says, if it were to come And I just can't. I can't iRobot. And again, that's my thing, because again, the world will try to target those who are turning against their ways that they have placed in here in order to try to lead humanity astray. So they're going to make you feel something before source will, right? They're going to make you, society or social constructs are going to try to demonize you more than source would. But again, you know what's right and wrong. And again, if this stuff is not questionable for you, when it's a natural, chemically processed thing that happens with us as people, we are having this experience here. Again, just like angels are having their type of experience, and God is or source is who Elohim are having their experience. But we are, we were created this way to have these natural occurring things, right? And again, it's just like almost making me think of like things that are joyous or things that bring fulfillment are sometimes targeted. Then I have to go back to nature and look at it that way, and study nature and natural things to see if this even feels natural, right? Because we know that there's a lot of things that are abnormal or not natural that occur sometimes in religious communities, right? And those particular things will be happening, and it's okay or swept under the rug. But certain things that are naturally occurring to humans or beings on this plane are looked at as something that you should be ashamed of, which then also assassinates the character or assassinates something that is within us that, I don't know, I feel like it's soulful, right? It's dealing with soul, right? And so I just wanted to look at this, and I'm going to stop talking and go into it. So if we are able to overcome it, we must be strong. Use these Bible verses to find out why you should resist lust, and use them to strengthen yourself. Okay. So again, is this possible is what we're asking. Is this even a possible thing once we look at this term? Okay. So again, these are the terms that they pulled up that have to do with lust. In Exodus 20 and 14, you shall not commit adultery. Okay, well, again, that doesn't actually say lust. Psalms 101 and 3, I will not look with approval on anything that is vile. Okay, I hate what faithless people do. I will have no part in it. Still doesn't say anything about lust, but I think adultery has something to do with lust, the term or whatever. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Okay, so again, this is even making me think about Enoch and angels coming down to. Okay, well, let's get it straight. I don't have it here with me, but angels coming down because they thought that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them as wives, as many as they could. Now, wives, maybe we can look at that one later, but it's making me think even companionship, or it's not realistic, like even Solomon having all those hundreds of wives. Not realistic. We have to look at it as also like this is like a coupling or a joining together of a body, meaning these women will be the body, right? And he will be the head, possibly. Even like when we're talking about the riders on the horses, and just different things, different ways to look at it. Okay. Is more of, is it something like that, right? The joining together of like nations or groups or tribes, even bands, whatever. So because again, these women, I think, were women that had some kind of clout, or they had something to offer. Again, it's reminding me also of like even today with a lot of women becoming entrepreneurs, and we're talking things about linking and soul, soul mates and soul ties and all these other things. I'm just wondering what are we again, what are we joining with, or again, are we so sure what is mounting, or even we can call it maybe siring or imprinting on, or how is this really, what all is this really dealing with? Because this is a joining together of something that, again, we would call even something of forever, right? So we should be discerning what this is, or could someone possibly end up attaching themselves to something maybe that they're not supposed to, and what are the signs to know, when it's talking divine feminine and divine masculine, and what I feel is a coupling of that going on in this plane right now, in discerning rather what type of energy you're really bringing in, centering yourself and making sure and discerning. You see, it's just a lot more. It's not so just all, just this beautiful thing all the time, right? There's ups and downs. There's things that we go through in these processes. There's situations that people are in during these processes. There's changes in your lives that go on in real life and in real time with these types of connections. It's just like a real thing. And a lot of people seem to think, again, right? So when it's talking about the flesh or whatever, a lot of people seem to think that this is just a connection that people are having from within, or dealing with spirit. Okay. And again, I'm wondering if, like I said, we're also dealing with some of us being seers or very intuitive, that can also just as beings in general, that are also able to manifest, or these things come to light. And what does that mean? Is that the same thing, or are we talking something different now? Right? As above, so below, even just these type of things I'm thinking. So again, if it's saying nothing of the flesh, then hey, hold on, was that something that's trying to stop something that is, again, a lot of this stuff is naturally, a lot of us didn't ask for these things. Maybe they just happened to you, and it's happening to you, maybe at the right time or the wrong time. Some of these things are just happening. They're just manifesting. And maybe we are the ones that are creating these manifestations, or we are the ones that see them there, and then we carry them on to birth, right? Mm-hmm. So again, maybe it's to hide the real true power of those that are in tune. So anyways, let's see. So again, like, is that trying to stop some type of connections that are supposed to be happening on this plane right now in the physical, right? That would be something that would create possibly, what did they say, giants in these days. And again, giants don't necessarily have to mean with size. It can be with a certain magnitude of energy or power or a frequency or something of that nature too. So again, and so would that be something that would be stopping that? And so they put these things in there to block us from our so-called, I don't even want to use it, what people might call a blessing, okay, or those things that have been bestowed. And then you all discombobulated, you may, there may be someone that source is sending to you in some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion, and we're blocking it because we're afraid, because this is saying something. And so this whole thing about lust and demonizing it makes me think about religious entities or structures over time that just make things like it's unbearable. Like, who would even want to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's more, I think it has there's more love in source than we think, because religions have stolen that or taken that aspect away in order to turn us into, again, iBots. I'm just gonna call them that, okay? iPhone, I this, I that. Again, there's this whole thing about people talking about, yes, narcissism and stuff like that, and it's really could be talking about self. And then what's so wrong with being selfish selfish in a way, or self-centered, not selfish, my fault, self-centered. It's almost like centering yourself so you can listen, so you can hear, so you can be connected with source, so you can be in tune, right? So again, there's that spiritual aspect, and then another spiritual, natural aspect of the thing. Okay. So this is just a discussion. I'm not telling you what that this is factual. This is just us looking at this and questioning things, and looking at it from a theoretical approach so that we can see, right? So again, but I tell you that anyone who looks, that's what I was about to say. Even when you talk about giants, and see, we think that we know these things happen in a certain time in his story, but his story be on some. And again, dates and timelines have been shifted. We already know calendars have been, it's a done deal. It's already a wrap with all that. We know different cultures that came pre-colonial, that had certain calendars and everything, and the things with the different calendars, the Gregorian and the Julie, I can never remember the other one, that have been altered. The 1,000 years that's supposed to be missing, these particular things like this. So, yeah. So again, anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. But did he do it in the flesh? See, because I think there's another one about the heart here. But it's a natural. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm just questioning these. We're just looking at these. We're examining these things so that we can do right. So sometimes it's a natural kind of combustion, spontaneous kind of thing that happens between two people when they meet or see each other for the first time. Should you not? You see what I'm saying? So we just all doing everything all wrong right now, right? I'm just saying, because how is that even possible? Has already committed adultery with her in his heart. But again, are we talking, because we're talking man and oh no, but it says anyone. It doesn't say man. I wonder if it says it man in any other text, but anyone. Okay. But it's not really a title or a label, really. So that one's kind of tricky. You say food for the stomach and the stomach for food, and God will destroy them both. The body, however, is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. Okay. But again, we can look at sexual, and again, it doesn't always mean the act of what we think it automatically means. Like when we're talking sexual intercourse and things like that, is talking about different types of connections and things like that are being made. Whether it's see, again, we won't go all the way into that. You guys can look that up. It's like a joining of, even with like a okay. Flee from evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Okay. So again, for everything in the world, the lust of the flesh. Okay, so again, this is the lust of the flesh. Not lust itself, but of the flesh. The lust of the eyes. Okay. And the pride of life come not from the Father, all right, but from the world. Okay, so again, we old world, new world, the world. Okay, again, and this is a saying. What type of world? What are we talking? When? Okay, and then again, okay. But I mean, and the pride of life come not from the Father. But again, are we talking right here when we're, because it's funny to use Father, I guess, and not the Lord, not God or anything like that, but Father, because it makes me think about like Father Thomas, or like say people call people of the church Father, or it just makes me even think about like missionaries from long ago, right? And we know really what was up with that. But you see what I'm saying? The fact that they're using Father here, it's kind of like saying it's not coming from them, it's coming from the world. But then, a lot of times back then, these people were misusing their power, I feel, when it came to colonizing. We'll just use that in general, right? So a lot of these people, these priests and fathers and deacons and things like that, some of them weren't. I'm just saying. Or are they just trying to say that the world or the natural people or the, in their worldly ways, pre-colonial, right? Or pre-colonization. I'm just saying. These natural things that we would have been doing before they came here and said, don't do this, it's a sin, stop that. Do you see what I'm saying? So religious aspects took, with a false narrative and notion, took play. Because again, they had to get to your mind first before they even gave you a Bible, especially in the language that you can read. Okay? So do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captivate with you with her eyes. Okay? So again, like I said, this seems, and again, you guys can let me know what you think, but this seems like it's impossible, right? For if we just think about people meeting people in relationships and in life and the way that, things are and how they happen naturally. Maybe it's not good to be captivated, but if the eyes are the window to the soul, right? So again, these are just things that I'm just looking at. Okay. And then after this, we're going to go ahead and read we're going to read the term. So we're just going to go through these real quick. The mind governed by the flesh is death. Okay. So I can see how that would be, something. But it's saying it's governed, right? That means you just do everything by that way and not. Let's see. The mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the spirit is life and peace. So again, I guess, what spirit are we talking about? The Holy Spirit? Are we talking about just like, spiritual things that happen again? Because again, some of these connections are happening with people spiritually first, and then moving on into something else. May just be some form of, like I said, a companionship or something. But again, when we're talking about this in the spirit, this is something that actually happens and manifests there first. It's a sense, a notion or something that happens, something that guides you somewhere in the spiritual realm, and then there's like this connection, right? It didn't happen in the flesh first, and then you found out that this is your person. It happened in the spiritual realm first. Just looking at this in general. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desires and enticed. Then after the desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Okay. So again, we don't see lust in any of these scriptures really that much. So it's almost have to. I always want to know, like, how many times do we even see it in here? You know what I'm saying? Does that mean that just because it's in here a little bit of times doesn't mean that it was inserted later or anything like that? But I'm just wondering if it makes sense. If, like I said, this is something that is a natural occurrence with people, and so it's almost just like I feel like sometimes some of this stuff is added in there to make us feel so horrible and hopeless when it comes to seeking source that we are afraid to engage or invest. One second. Or you just kind of give up and just say, well, it's going to be this way. It's impossible for me not to do that. So, that's just it's a done deal for me. So I'm not even going to try to look further, right? Sometimes I think that these are things. It was some kind of programming that was done to detach people from what would be a natural thing. And to also make you feel a heaviness and a burden, kind of like where you feel like you can't even connect or grasp. And so you just give up on seeking source and you turn your back on the whole, thing. So again, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm not saying that people should or shouldn't. Don't take me wrong. You do what you want to do. You discern yourself. Wisdom, knowledge, information that we've obtained, common sense too. We're gonna throw that in there. And then what's natural and what can even be controlled. Like this is something that, again, can it even be turned off in real people that have real feelings and real thoughts and emotions? And we should not let our emotions control us. No, but should we be emotionless people that are on this plane when everything is so divided and so I don't know, disconnected now anyway? So again, let me know what you guys think. I know it's just random, but I wanted to talk about stuff like this. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the term in the next video. Take care.